some noise. Here we go, baby. Here we go. We're in a long time for this match. All right, come on now. Come on, get up, get up. Let's do it, let's do it. Come on now. Now check this out. I want a good, clean fight. All right, if you guys decide to get dirty, I can't do nothing for you. Ain't no such thing as scorecards. Y'all gotta take that shit out in the yard. Match doesn't start until I beat the bucket. You dig? You dig? Make a clean fight. Come on, man. Check this out. Knock his ass out. All right, let's go, baby. Let's go. Come on now.
My man, please welcome DJ, beatboxer, community organizer. He does it all, man. Sean Mauricette on the Samy Priso show.
Hey.
What's going on, Sean?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm doing good. Listen, you in Toronto right now, right?
That's right.
How's the weather over there? Is it cold yet?
You know what? The weather is nice. You know what I'm saying? It's not Sammy, Florida nice, but it's good. We got the fall colors. You know what I'm saying? The trees are green and brown and beautiful.
Knock on wood, man.
But it's all
Knock
right.
on wood, bro. Because I know the winter over there is crazy, right? Minus 28, minus 30.
It gets up there, yeah, definitely.
How do you survive that? As a matter of fact, how long have you been in Toronto? Because I know you lived in Florida for a while, right?
No, I did. I visited Florida. I wish I lived in Florida. It's a dream to be in Florida. I've been in Toronto all my life, pretty much.
Okay.
I want to say I'm used to it, but my background is Caribbean, so
Okay.
we never totally get used to the cold.
Okay, sounds good. But I know I will get used to the cold. Never. I don't care how to try, never. I think I've been in Florida so long, man. I'm used to the sun and everything. Good to have you on the show, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
So you do a lot of stuff. You're a beatboxer, you're a DJ, you're a lyricist, you're a producer, you're a writer, you're an actor, you're a community organizer, you're a documentary filmmaker. Now, in one word, how would you summarize yourself in just one word?
Man, I'm an artist.
Okay.
I'm an artist. Right? The one thing that all those things that you listed have in common is the ability to create and compose and build.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that deals with artistic expression and building, I'm with it. So whether it's building a child's self-confidence, building a home, or building a hip-hop beat, I'm with it.
Yeah. By the way, before you get into your career and everything, congratulations. I know you just had a baby not too long ago.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
How those sleepless nights, man?
Can you see the bags, man? Can you see the...
I know.
No, you can't.
Baby will do that to you, man. Baby will do that to you. So how did you get started? When and where did all these journeys started, man? How did you start? You was very young, right? 6 years old, you told me?
Yeah, I was 6 years old. I was beatboxing at recess trying to get a girl's attention.
Hey, you don't want your wife to hear that, okay? You don't want to tell her that.
It always has to do with women in some capacity,
Right. True.
And I was trying to impress her, man, and she didn't notice me, and but my other friends, they did notice me, and we would beatbox all recess, and that's where I realized I love performing. And then I did performances in school plays, and then I ended up doing hip-hop performances. I got noticed by this guy's manager. We toured Canada DJing, and then I started to branch out and do my own music and my own beatboxing and DJing, and then I got into acting, and acting grew and turned into motivational speaking, and one thing just kind of snowballed into the next. But that's also kind of my message to the youth, is that when you don't limit yourself and you try new things, doors open, opportunities become endless, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, that's why as a lyricist, your style, because you also you have a stage name I would call Subliminal. How did you come up with that name, Subliminal?
So Subliminal was, when I first started DJing, I was known as DJ Subliminal. Okay. Right? And then from DJing, it grew into, it was MC Subliminal, but there's already an MC Subliminal that exists. So then I turned it into a.k.a. Subliminal, because I'm also an actor. And, what else is he known as? What else does he do? And so that's where the Subliminal came in. But as I get older, I'm beginning to use my real name a little bit more. It's funny you played that clip with Ving Rhames. And Ving Rhames, when we were on set shooting Phantom Punch, he was one of the first people to sit me down and say, brother, you got a beautiful name, man. You got to use your name, son.
So you got scared, right? It was like, yo, you got to use it. Because when Ving Rhames tell you to do something, you do it.
You got to do it.
You do it, man. Now, as a lyricist, how would you characterize your style of lyricism? I know it's a mix between hip hop and soul music.
Yeah, yeah. I call what I do soul hop. So it's like soulful hip hop. So it's very reminiscent of the storytellings of Slick Rick with the sort of flow and delivery of Jay Dilla, Slum Village. That kind of the Justice League. That kind of soulful hip hop. So
Okay.
it's kind of in that vein. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more like conscious rap because as I was reading through your bio, you've worked with a lot of people, including De La Soul, Mos Def, and people like that, which I like very much because in every of their songs there's always a positive message going out. And are you doing the same thing with your music? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Don't get me wrong. I don't see. There's nothing wrong with the little, booty shaking and
The bling.
talking about the bling and everything every now and then. But I think we need to have balance. You know what I'm saying? So we need the generation coming up to understand that there's more things to hip hop. These things don't define you as a man. There's other
Absolutely.
things that are just as important. And for me, growing up, I learned a lot of things from hip hop. Listening to J. Rue the Damager, he talked about Can't Stop the Prophet and what he was talking about with regard to what the labels and media and stuff want to do to you as a black man coming up. We need to hear more of this stuff. I'm not saying it
Absolutely.
only has to be that, but we got to keep that balance. Understand how to treat
Absolutely.
women, the importance of women,
Absolutely.
education. And I know these things, might sound kind of corny, but there's still a way that you can deliver it in a cool way that makes sense. And then we can get back to the booty shaking.
Yeah. Because we gotta get back to that at the end of the day, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're also an actor. As a matter of fact, what clip did you see at the beginning, at the intro of the interview? What was that?
I saw that was a movie that we shot back in 2007, 2006.
Okay.
Called the Phantom Punch, which is the
Okay.
story of Sonny Liston, starring Ving Rhames, directed by Robert Townsend,
Okay.
another very good friend of mine. Big up, shout out to Robert Townsend if he's watching.
Yeah, he was also on the Aaliyah biopic, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now, how did that come about, man? How did you get involved into acting anyway? I mean, you went from beatboxing and producing to acting. How did that happen?
Well, so I have an agent here in Toronto for acting, and they send me out on auditions. And what I was able to do is take my skills that I had in music and performing on stage, and sort of flip those skills into acting.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to boast or nothing, but I was a pretty good actor. I did it in high school, I did it in elementary school, but when I got into the real world, that's where I really got my feet planted. And doing that same movie, Phantom Punch, with Ving Rhames and Robert Townsend, they really mentored me and coached me on set.
Okay.
And so, I really had that advantage of hip hop and transitioned those skills and put it into the acting, and the rest is history, man.
Absolutely, man. I think you did pretty good, man. Hey guys, come on, man. Come on, man, get together. That was good, man. I was impressed. Now,
Thanks.
you've won a lot of awards, man. You're probably gonna sit up here for an hour if I have to go, through all the awards that you've won over your career. But which one, and I don't mean to demean all the other ones that you've won,
Yes.
but which one, meant the most, to you?
I'm gonna say the award from the United Nations.
Okay.
So
Tell us about that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of people would hear that and say, "Well, you're just saying that because it's the UN." But the honest truth is that award came to me because I was presenting at a United Nations Day event, and after I got off stage, most entertainers, when they get off stage, you leave the stage. You don't go back up on stage because it kind of ruins the whole, the big applause, and then you you end up back on stage. So I got off stage, but they were having trouble with the projector, so I was trying to help them figure out the technical stuff. I put all that stuff aside about going back on stage, and I saw they needed help. I went up to help them, and then all of a sudden, Sammy, there's this silence on stage, and I look out to the center, and they're like, "Yo, come out," and I'm like, "Why?" And the man's holding a medal, and I'm like, "For me?" And everybody starts to laugh. So it was a very humbling moment, but I went out there,
Okay.
And that was not an award that I applied for or anybody nominated me for it. It was an award that was given because they did research into who I was and what I was doing and felt the need to show that love and share that with me. So when that award came to me and it was so unexpected, while I was in the midst of trying to help them solve their own technical issues, it just meant the world to me, man, especially what I was going through at that time in my life. So to have that recognition was phenomenal.
That's great, man. And I know you also a documentary filmmaker. You're working on the documentary, but oh my God, what doesn't this guy do, man? He does it all. Now, documentary filmmaker. Now, you're working on a documentary on sickle cell, right?
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
All right, tell me, I know you had no clue what sickle cell was all about, you know, when it got dumped into the project. Tell us a little bit, man, how that came about.
So there's an after-school program that I'm involved in a fairly tough part of Toronto, but they wanted me to work with students who had sickle cell. And I was like, what's sickle cell? And I said, you know what, don't bother, don't tell me. I'll just go home and I'll watch a documentary about it. And just, you know, give me the name of one. And nobody could give me the name of a documentary. And so that's where myself and another gentleman named Ulyss, who actually has sickle cell from Haiti, decided to let me follow him and document his life with sickle cell. But what I was not prepared for was just what a psychological, emotional toll it would take on me and my family as I dove deeper into this world that I knew nothing about. But I think it's going to be something that's needed because sickle cell is it's a blood disorder that's very prevalent within the Black community, but it's not exclusive to the Black community. So we need these doctors, these nurses to understand what it is so we can properly help and treat people with it that are living with it. So
the
and the other thing I want to say very quickly, Sam,
are you still working on it?
So yeah, I'm still working on it. And what I was going to say very quickly, man, this is me funding the project myself, shooting it myself, editing it myself, using my own equipment. So I want people to know if there's something you're passionate about, you don't got to wait on getting all the big fancy grants and sponsors. You can get your stuff, get a computer, start editing, and tell your own story. You know,
absolutely.
And we can help.
But I mean, you know, I mean, if you you know, you feel like, you know, this is something that people do, hey, man, if you have a website, you know, I'm sure, you know, the viewers will be delighted, you know, to help, because I'm sure everybody here, you know, knows at least one person that live with that disease. I know I do. And it's a very, very hard disease, man. So if you have a website, you know, just shoot it up to, or you can say what it is, where people can, you know, send you some money for help, you know, fund the documentary.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you want to stay in touch, you can reach me at a.k.a. subliminal.com. All right, so a.k.a. Subliminal. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's a.k.a. Subliminal. You know, Facebook, everything is a.k.a. Subliminal. And what's funny about it, Sammy, was the reason I initially went to Florida was because there's a doctor that you guys have in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, named Dr. Charlie Ware, who's, you know, using acupuncture and all kinds of things to treat people. So he's in the documentary, and his brothers like that. I want to send a shout out to Dr. Charlie Ware, who's doing fantastic, phenomenal things. He's the unsung heroes within our community, and hopefully this documentary can help to give them a stage for what they're doing.
Now, is that disease, you know, huge in the African American community? Yeah, I mean, is it?
It's big. I mean, part of the issue is that the trait is very predominant within our community, and most of us don't get tested. So when you have a trait and your girlfriend has a trait and you guys decide to have a baby, there's a 25% chance that child could have the full-blown disease. If you have the trait, then you're gonna be good more or less. There's some people where the trait does flare up into crisis, as my friend Dr. Charlie Ware exhibits in Florida, who has the trait. But if more of us know our sickle cell status and get tested, we can eradicate the disease completely, but it starts by knowing your status.
Absolutely. So now you also, we have to touch on that too. You're also a youth mentor, and I think you mentioned that a little bit. Now you go to tough neighborhood and speak to these young, you know, African Black kids about the importance of education and all that. Now, what made you decide to do that? I mean, you good, man. You could have just decided, you know what, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about anybody else, man. My wife, my kids, my family, I'm fine. You know, everybody is on their own, but you decided to go out and speak to these young kids.
You know what it was, Sammy? It's like there's a vibe I get when I'm talking to people and I see minds opening up, and I see people realizing, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's cool for me. Like I can play football, but I could also go home and write some poetry too. You know, I can play basketball. I could be an MC, but it's okay for me to also be really, really dope at math and science. And I think back to when I was in school, if I had an MC come into my school and be like, yo, I go home and I read like Nas, we know Nas, the hip hop artist.
Yeah.
This man, this dude, like he reads, you know what I'm saying? Like he's smart. He's really, really intelligent. So I love breaking down those preconceived notions of what it means to be an MC or what it means to be an architect and see these kids come to life and realize they can be themselves. So it's really my driving force. I just enjoy doing it. I love seeing the minds open up. And I love seeing that spark, man. I think that's what just keeps me going.
It's always good, when somebody like you, we have, who has the platform that you do have, to go out and let these kids know that, hey, they can do it. I mean, look at me. If I can do it, you can do it too. The one thing I need to mention, you graduated from college, from the University of Toronto. You did architecture, right?
That's right, yeah.
Are
That's
you
right.
still
I graduated
doing that at all?
2002. 2002, I graduated.
Are you still doing that at all? You put that into the back burner?
Nah, man, I'm actually a project manager on an expansion project for a community health center in one of the more high-risk neighborhoods in Toronto called Jane and Finch. I'm actually I was the head architectural designer for the first ever drop-in center for young and potential fathers right here in Canada. We've worked on a couple other projects, Centers for Green Change. And what I'm doing now, Sammy, is when these architectural jobs come in, I bring in my architectural partner who used to be my professor in university.
Okay.
And I bring him in, and me and him work on the projects together, man. So, it's a blessing, man. Well, like I said, anything that has to do with building and composition, whatever I can take from my mind and make it a reality is what I'm going to do while helping the community. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, I think you're doing a great job. I think you're putting your talent to the right place. And hopefully, man, the future looks very bright. So what are you working on? You had a documentary. You have all these projects. Any album coming out soon? Any album? Any lyrics?
Oh, I did a little guest spot on this artist from the UK on her single, which we're editing right now. I'm working on trying to get back to the UK, actually, work on a project to tour the UK in collaboration with the YMCA. So hopefully that happens in the spring. And I'm also working on a one-man theatrical production, which I will premiere in the UK if everything goes through, where you're going to see me on stage go from motivational speaker to actor to musician and back and forth. So it's sort of a dream I've always had to do that, and I see it kind of coming to fruition now. So we're working on that. Of course, always in the studio recording, but it's and also trying to make time for the family, man. I'm
Absolutely.
Trying to, I know, Sammy. I know you got like a 43-year-old son at home and stuff.
I'm not at home,
you did
man.
this already.
I'm not at home, man. But listen, but why the UK though? Come to Florida. Bring your plate to Florida. We need to see you here too, man. Why the UK?
The UK, I haven't been back in about 3 years. And the issue with Florida is if I go, I may never come back to Canada because the weather's just so beautiful. Sammy's got the best Thai collection out there, which I can borrow anytime I want. He told me that already.
Yeah, right. You're right, man. You're right, man. You got a good eye, bro. You got a good eye. Listen, Sean, it was good having you on the show, man. Come back anytime, okay? Anytime, be delighted to have you on the show, okay?
Anytime. Blessing. Thank you for having me, family.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Folks, that was lyricist, actor, everything, all in one. Sean Mauricette. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.